There's an area in my life, a major part of my life that the enemy was interested in, and that was the area of marriage. The enemy, for some reason, the enemy was very, very interested in my marriage as a single man. He was so interested in it. I remember when I was growing up as a teenager, different men of God, prophets, almost wherever I go, men of God will be telling me, as a teenager, 17 years, 18 years old, 16, men of God were saying, just pray about your marriage. Pray about your marriage, because growing up, I was close to men of God. After I lost my father, I needed men to guide me. I needed father figures in my life. So I started going close to men of God. So most of them were telling me, hey, pray about your marriage. Be careful when it's time to marry. Because what we are seeing, we can't explain it to you, So the enemy, I noticed between my early 30s and mid 30s, when I started making attempts to get married, I noticed that the devil was very interested in my marriage, but there are two major aspects that I want to point out, two major experiences that I had, I want to point out. And I'm saying this to teach somebody, especially the singles. You notice that most of my videos that I focus on relationship and marriage most of the time, and by God's grace, my new book on courtship and marriage just came out. Listen, after I went through what I went through, I made a vow to God. I remember a prayer I prayed. I told God, I think I was 36, 37 then, and I was still single. I told God, if you help me to get it right in marriage. This was after failed relationships and breakups and failed courtships. I came to a point that I made a vow. I told God, if you help me to get it right in marriage, if you give me a good wife, I will teach other people about relationship. I will teach marriage. I will teach. This will be a major part of my ministry. That was a vow I made to God, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I had two major experiences I want to share. At that time, I was the youth pastor in our church, and there was this sister that, she was a single mother. She had 2 kids, but she was divorced. But I was interested in her. I was interested in her because of her commitment in the things of God. She was so committed. She was zealous. She was in every service. She was serving in the youth department, serving in church, serving in the children's department. And that attracted me to her, kind of. I became interested. I say, even though she's a single mother, I don't mind. I will marry her and take care of her kids, But something happened. I wanted to pay attention. First of all, let me state that there is nothing wrong with marrying a single mother if God is leading you. Please mind my word. If God is the one leading you, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. So you don't misunderstand what I'm about to say. So there were two major times that I almost got it wrong. I almost married. I almost made a major mistake. So I was interested in her. So I made a decision that I would talk to my pastor about it. So I told my pastor, hey, so I want to talk with you. And my pastor, personally, every pastor that got sent to our location, I have personal relationships with my pastors, and I have good relationships with my pastors. I'm not the kind of person that will gossip my pastor, or start ganging up with other people against my pastor. I don't do that. One of the reasons I don't do that is because I know it triggers a curse over people. And also I know that as a leader, I don't want people to gang up against me, because it is what you sow that you will reap. So I try to avoid that, and God warned me seriously about church politics, to stay away from church politics. So I have some strong personal relationships with my pastors. I have good relationships with them. So that my pastor at that time, I told him, so I want to, have a conversation with you. So I had in mind to tell him, hey, I like this sister, because he knows the sister was very committed in church. So, and my pastor said, okay, let's have a lunch. So at that time, that my particular pastor, he likes, we go to play games together. We play long tennis together. We hang out most of the time. So he told me, hey, get ready. We're going for lunch. When we get to the lunch, we'll talk about it. So we went for lunch. We were sitting down and talking. And he said, hey, you say you want to tell me something. I said, yes. And I told him, so I think I like this sister. I'm attracted to her. I like her commitment in church. Even though she's a single mother, I don't mind. I will marry her and I'll take care of her children. And this girl, I'm telling you, is not even an Igbo girl, so it has nothing to do with tribe, And my pastor looked into my eyes. Whew. See why I said it's good to have good relationships with your pastors. He looked into my eyes and he said, don't do it. And I'm like, but this girl is a member of our church. Don't you want me to marry a member of the church? He said, don't do it. Just don't do it. And he didn't tell me why at that time. He said, don't do it. So after that, I forgot about the whole situation and something happened. So one day we were in church and I saw this girl got upset and became angry with someone. I saw the outburst of anger and I saw the way she displayed her anger. I said, thank God I did not put my head there. I started thanking God. I said, Father, thank you. I said, thank you that I did not put my head there. So it dawned on me that there's nothing wrong marrying a single mother. Just make sure the person is healed, because sometimes their traumatic experience will speak. So the way the lady, got triggered and the way she spoke that day, the vibration, I said, thank God I did not put my head. So that's one. Another, listen, I'm saying this to teach somebody something. I just told you the importance of carry your pastor along. There's a reason. All right? God gave you pastors for a reason. Second, another experience I had that, I want to share with those who care to listen is this. So later, another sister joined our church because I was desperate to get married at that time. You are not ready if you are desperate. Let me just put it that way. You are not ready. It's not time if you are desperate. The only time you are allowed to be desperate is when you feel like the cloud is full, that God is telling you it's time. Then you have the right to be desperate about whatever you are trusting God for. You start pushing in this, you start pushing in prayer and fasting and, but if God is not giving you the signal that it's time, you have no business being desperate for anything. All right. So later, another sister joined our church. This girl is tall and pretty and fair. She's an RN. She was singing in the choir. She was committed again. She's in every service. And I was still the youth pastor. You see, I served as a youth pastor a long time in my church. I served for a long time, probably about 5 years, So people in church were telling me, Bro Hima, talk to this girl. She was committed in the youth department. She was there. So some of the leaders in church were like, Bro Hima, talk to this girl. What else do you want? She's tall, she's fair, she's committed in church, she's serving in church, she's an RN. What else do you want? I refused to approach her. You see, I learned early that before you talk to a girl that you feel like you are attracted to, talk to a higher authority. So I decided to, I decided to pray about it. Yeah, this time I decided to pray. So instead of talking to the girl, I went indoors to pray. You see, the first one I told you I approached my pastor, right? And he guided me, right? This time I said, let me talk to God about this. So I went indoors and I prayed and I told God, you see, it's important to be very, very honest when you are talking to God. He's your father. Stop faking. So I told God, this girl, I like her, physically seeing her. I like what I saw. I'm attracted to her. She's committed in church. So I gave God all the reason why I should approach her. She's committed in church. She's singing in the choir. She's an RN. She's this and that. She respects people. I think I'm interested in her. I was open to God. And after that prayer, you see, a prayer that must be answered, you must be honest. You must be very honest with yourself. If you want your prayer to be answered, be honest with God. All right? Don't fake anything. He's God. He already knows your heart. God already knows what you like. Don't go and fake anything. Tell him. Tell him he's your father. And then know what he wants you to do. So, excuse me. So after that prayer, I had a vision. One of the ways that God speaks to me is through night vision. I'm not the kind of person that dreams. My wife is on the dream side. You know, God constantly talks to her through dreams. Personally, I probably have a dream once in a while. But anytime I have a vision at night, is a message. So in that night vision, I saw the finger, I saw the hand of that girl, that sister. Only just her hand was shown to me, and she was wearing a wedding ring. Physically, she was not wearing a wedding ring. Spiritually, she was wearing a wedding ring. In that vision, she wore a wedding ring on her finger. So that was confusing. I said, what is going on? This girl, physically, she's single. In that vision, she was wearing a wedding ring, but physically, she was single, clearly. So something happened. I decided to hold on. You see, something else I want to teach you. If you're not sure, hold on. If it's not clear, hold on. Don't make any move. If you don't have peace, hold on. One of the books I published about 2 or 3 years ago on divine direction, I talked about this. If you are not sure, hold on. If God is silent, hold on. If you are scared and afraid of the decision, hold on. If important people in your life have not approved it, hold on. Understand, agitation is not the voice of God. Confusion is not the voice of God, because God is not the author of confusion. If you are confused, if you are scared, afraid, doubting, hold on. It is not God leading you. So after that vision, I was confused about the girl, about the sister. And I decided to just hold on. That was it. Few years after that, I was working in a hospital at that time, and I met someone, a woman that knows this girl closely. And the woman told me about her. So when I asked questions at that time, the woman told me, that girl you're talking about, she's going through divorce at this moment. Her husband is in Nigeria. Their case is still in court. They have not divorced yet. I said, oh, so that was what God was showing me, that she's still married. Listen, if you have not gone through divorce, you are still married. I don't care if you are separated. If you have not gone through divorce process clearly, you are still married. So if you are sleeping around, you are committing fornication. So that taught me a lesson about waiting on God. And later, that girl left the church. You know, both of these ladies I told you about later left the church. They later left. Listen, let me tell you, before you make certain decisions, talk to important people in your life. Talk to them about it. Talk to your pastor. You have a pastor for a reason. I don't know if I've said this in any of my videos. After we had our son, it was difficult for my wife to conceive the second time. We prayed and prayed and prayed. Nothing happened. One day I told my wife, I have to talk to my pastor to pray. When my pastor prayed, my wife conceived. There are prayers you will pray that God will not answer until the pastor, he gave you praise. He said, I will give you pastors after my own heart. You have a pastor for a reason. There are decisions you want to take. Ask questions. Seek the opinion of spiritual people around you. It may be your parent. It may be, as long as the person is a spiritual person, you know, mature in the spirit, and the person is a godly person, seek the opinion of godly people around you. It may be a friend. It may be your sibling. It may be your pastor or your mentor. It may be your spouse. It may even be your child who is spiritually sensitive. Stop making blind decisions. If you are confused, if you are afraid, if you are scared, if you are agitated, if you are anxious, God is not the one leading you. put that decision on hold until God speaks. When God speaks, it will be clear. When it was time for me to get married, because God kept me waiting for quite a long time, when he felt that now I think you are at rest, because the time came I told God, you know what, I'm not going to ask any girl out again. The ones I tried didn't work. The ones I dated didn't work. The ones I courted didn't work. I am tired. I'm not going to ask anybody for marriage again. I will be on my own and I will serve you. The moment I made that decision, I was on my own. Woke up one morning, and at that time I felt the cloud was full. You see, when the cloud is full, you will know. The Bible said that the rain will fall. I sensed in the spirit that I was at rest. I told God, I can stay single for life. I don't care. I will just do ministry. So I woke up one morning, the cloud was full, and God gave me an impression in my spirit to call my classmate in the university, a woman I went to school with. You know, she's married now with children. She was married then already. So I reached out to her and I told her, Sister Chioma, I have a leading in my heart that you should recommend a wife for me. The lady said, okay, send me the qualities you are looking for. So I already have qualities I documented. She must be a godly person. She must be a genuine born again. She must be committed in church. She must be ready for ministry. She must be, different major things. I did not put, funny enough, I don't think I asked God for a beautiful lady. Funny enough, I'm telling you. I didn't push she must be. I don't think I pushed she must be tall and she must be beautiful. No. Some of the things I see in my wife were just bonuses that God gave me. So when I sent the woman the list, she looked at it and she forwarded 4 pictures to me. First one, I told her this is not the wife I'm looking for. She sent the second one. I told her this is not the wife. It was like Samuel in the house of Jesse looking for a king. So she sent it, and all the ladies she sent me were born again Christians, committed in church. They were good looking. So she sent the first one. No, this is not the lady I saw. Because funny enough, 5 years before then, I did 40 days fasting and I saw my wife in a vision. So my spirit already knows the woman. My spirit knows the wife. So she sent the first one. I said, no, Sister Chioma, that's not the one. She sent the second one, Sister Chioma, this is not the wife that God told me. Third one, Sister Chioma, that's not the one. The fourth one, I said to her, who is this lady? And she started telling me about her. I said, I want to know who this person is. Get me her phone number. That was how I got married. Yes, the lady I'm married to today, that was how I met her. I saw a picture of her and I said, this is the one that God showed me. And she's exactly the picture I saw in that vision during that 40 days fasting. Listen, your spirit knows what is meant for you. And that's why I say, if you are agitated, if you are scared, if you're anxious, if you are in doubt, God is not leading you. Seek the opinion and the counsel of godly people around you so you don't make mistakes. You see why I'm teaching on marriage? I don't want anybody to make mistakes, because this is an area that the devil fought so much in my life. He knows that if I was married to the wrong woman, I wouldn't be doing ministry today. He knows that. So he fought so hard to make sure that I married the wrong person. All right? Seek godly counsel. It will help you. In the multitude of counsel, there is safety. God bless you.